Ang sibyaanan nga mohatag katinawan sa mga pangutana sa katawhan. Laging handa! Programang makahatag kasayuran sa benepisyo ug ayuda alang sa katawhan. Laging handa! Programang maghatod sa mga impormasyon kabahin sa pagpangandam ug mga gipatuman sa nasyonal nga pangagamhanan taliwala sa pandemyang COVID-19. Laging handa! Mapaminaw matag Lunes hangtod Sabado alas 11 ngadto alas 12 sa kaugtuhon. Diri lamang sa RPN DXKD Dipolog 1053 kHz sa atong mga AM radio bands o sa RPN DXKD Dipolog sa Facebook account. Magkahiusa kita aron mapakgang ang pagkuyanap sa COVID-19. Laging handa! Hatod ka nato sa Presidential Communications Operations Office kun PCOO.
Upang masugpo ang paglaganap ng COVID-19. Bigyan ng sapat na gamit ang mga empleyado upang maprotektahan ang kanilang kalusugan. Kung may clinic staff, bigyan sila ng tamang PPE o Personal Protective Equipment. Gumawa ng daily health questionnaire para sa mga manggagawa at i-temperature scan ang bawat isa bago pumasok. Maglaan ng isang isolation area para sa mga empleyadong kakikitaan ng lagnat at iba pang sintomas. Maaari ring magsagawa ng COVID-19 testing para sa mga empleyado na naaayon sa panuntunan ng DOH. Basta't sama-sama at laging handa, kaya natin to! Philippines' newest morning news show is Rising with Diane Querer, Gabayan, and Aljo Bendijo. Rise and shine, Pilipinas!
Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
An artist whom I respect very much.
Bata pa ako, Diyosa na siya.
One of the most passionate lady I have ever met.
She does not want to disappoint and she encourages us to do the same.
Sa bawat pagtaas ng kurtina at pagbukas ng mga ilaw ay nagsisimula ang naiibang mahika, dulot ng sining ng isang estrella na nagbibigay liwanag sa bawat entabladong kanyang tinutungtungan. Ang kanyang malawak na imahinasyon at malinaw na bisyon tungo sa mga malikhaing layunin sa ibabaw ng kanyang angking kakanyahang nilinang sa disiplina, iba yung talino at karanasan ay ang mga bumubuo sa matibay na pundasyon ng kanyang dakilang sining na patuloy at walang sawang ibinabahagi sa buong mundo sa loob ng napakaraming taon.
As the proponent and exponent and the initial promoter of modern dance, he was number one.
Isa siyang tunay na original na artista sa
sayaw.
But some of the things that she taught us molded myself anyway as a professional dance artist.
I said, one day, I'm going to step on that stage. I'm going to dance on that stage because nakita ko siya.
From the top,
Ito ang inspirasyon na isa sa mga Filipinong alagad ng kultura. Ito ang buhay ng dakilang pambansang alagad ng sining, Alice Reyes. Ang kanyang matapang na paggamit sa kapangyarihan ng kanyang sining ay siyang nagsilang sa makabagong uri ng pagsayaw na naghawa ng landas di lamang para sa natuklas ng naiibang estilo at paghubog sa mga modernong konsepto, kundi pati na rin sa pagbukas ng mga pintuan upang makilala ng mundo ang galing ng mga Filipinong artista at yaman ng Filipinong kalinangan. Isang direksyon na kanyang nilandas at pinunlaan patungo sa mga dakilang layunin na hinangad higit pa para sa sariling pag-unlad.
He was a probinsyano who came to Manila. Wow, dito pala may blackout pala. Dumidilim palang ilaw tapos curtain open. Ay! Tapos biglang nag-ilaw. Ay, may tao na sa labas. Nagsayaw sila. Nagdumating na ang isang piyasa na istorya. So I was so enthralled. Sabi ko naman, so weird. Weird ang movement. Sabi ko naman, ganda nito. That thing really impressed me.
Morning. Morning. Hi. Hi, Mary. Hi, Lloyd. Okay, we're gonna serve bacon and eggs and danggit. Where's the danggit?
Isinilang noong ika-14 na Oktubre, taong 1942, si Alice Reyes. Panganay sa 5 supling ng mag-asawang Ricardo Reyes, tinaguri ang ginoo ng katutubong sayaw ng Pilipinas at Adoracion Garcia Reyes, isang pinagpipitagang maestra sa musika.
My mother was a teacher at Philippine Women's University College of Music and Arts. My mother was very focused on making sure that her children got the best education. For her, that opened doors, and it did.
Yung nanay niya, si Adoracion Reyes, ay pianista, musician, napakagaling din.
We always sang, we played the piano, so kailangan mag-aral kami ng piano, mag-aral kami ng paintings. Papa also had a very fine hand. You know, he sketched. So pag nagpapasyal kami sa Luneta or at the time it was called Dewey Boulevard, we would spend time sketching.
Si Mang Carding Reyes, yung tatay niya, Mr. Folk Dancer yun during his time.
So my father was the most graceful straight dancer, as a bayanihan dancer, very handsome.
Father was a natural dancer. I mean, he worked in the bank, but his first love is music and dance.
It's A, B, C, D, E. So Alice is A, being the eldest, and then there is Beatrice, there's Cecilia, and then I'm Denisa, and Edna, and a brother in between. So Alice was really the big ate, big sister. So she was very bossy. We looked up to her. She's a very determined young teenager, I remember, when she was heading the whole brood. She was a leader.
My life as growing up was really between school and work and dance. So from childhood, sumasayaw ako. So it wasn't as much fun for me on a Saturday. If it was a choice to go out with friends or to dance, I would have to dance.
She was the A+ students. She was the summa cum laude daughter. She was perfect in my mother's eye. You know, she's the oldest. So when we were going to Bulacan, my father's family, the whole clan there, and Alice would be like an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, she already performed for the whole clan.
And all my titos and my titas, magtatapon sila ng coins.
She get all the money for Christmas.
And then all my cousins would get the coins. So I was very popular because they loved this whole thing of getting coins because I danced.
And she was wonderful. She was charming.
My family is a musical family.
And marami sa pamilya niya nagpatuloy at nagkaroon din ng ganong klaseng direction sa ating kultura. And si Alice was, of course, number one.
I always danced.
When she was little, she trained under Rosalia Merino Santos in classical ballet.
Kasama ng kanyang ama, pumasok si Alice Reyes sa Bayanihan Philippine National Dance Company kung saan siya'y lumibot kasama ang grupo sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa upang magtanghal. Ang tambalang nilang mag-ama ay tunay na tinangkilik ng mga manonood habang ang kanyang talento sa pagsayaw ay tuluyang nahubog ng karanasan. Di naglaon, kinilala at hinangaan ang husay ni Alice Reyes bilang mananayaw.
In 1957, the Bayanihan, which was started by PWU, organized this folk dance company they called Bayanihan, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing that came around. And my father and I, because we had been dancing together as father and daughter, we had been invited to join the Bayanihan.
Alice was 16, I think. So they did a lot of the duets in Bayanihan. They were well known in Bayanihan as a father-daughter team.
Doon kami nagkasama ni Alice, doon kami nagkakilala. And talagang magaling na dancer si Alice. No doubt about it. Pero si Alice was on a different mode, different level. I knew it and I saw it in her.
Naging sikat siya when she started to dance with her father. You see right away the talent of someone who is outstanding. Became a father-daughter team. They would dance. They would even have a dance troupe. Sometimes they would rehearse in their sala in Sampaloc. And Edna would watch them and follow them.
And that, of course, opened up the whole world, not only for those of us in the Bayanihan, but it also opened the world's eyes to what the Philippines was all about.
Hindi pa man nagtatapos ng pag-aaral, si Alice Reyes ay ganap ng profesional sa kanyang larangan habang nakatulong sa kanyang pamilya.
It was really our growing up. She moved us from a small, very humble place in Sampaloc to a nicer, that Mandaluyong thing. She says, you know, we gotta have rooms for the girls, Mama. We can't have all four of them in the same room. Yung ganun ba? She just made sure that we grew up in a more civilized way. She had a goal for all of us to grow up in a better way, situation.
I went back to Maryknoll College and finished my Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Arts. And then at that time, I was doing television shows.
In Maryknoll College, studying college, at the same time she would perform in Bayanihan and she would give her fees to my mother.
Because at the time you had all these musical shows, so I would choreograph for those on a weekly basis. So I was studying and choreographing for 2 or 3 shows a week. I mean, so I was pretty busy dancing.
And eventually, she was able to help my mother get us all to Maryknoll College and finish in a very expensive, exclusive Catholic school.
But even then, my focus was to get masters in foreign affairs and history. So I was taking classes at Ateneo. I was going to be in foreign affairs and consular affairs.
We wouldn't have done that without Alice. So we appreciate her also that way. She was my mother's anchor also, financially.
Dancing was just something I did, I think.
So she got exposed to Philippine dance, traditional, ethnic, Hispanic, folk dance. And then when she went to the United States to pursue her postgraduate degree in fine arts major in dance, she trained in contemporary dance, modern dance.
Sa Estados Unidos, siya ay inanyayahan ni Hanya Holm, isang tinaguri ang Big Four ng kilusan ng modernong sayaw upang mabihasa ito sa New York. Dito siya'y nagsanay sa ilalim ng mga tanyag na mananayaw at koreograpo. Tulad din ng Martha Graham, Merce Cunningham, Bessie Schoenberg, Alwyn Nicolais, Murray Lewis, Henry Danton, at Robert Joffrey.
Somebody whom we knew at the U.S. Embassy, who was the cultural attaché, had said to me, there is a scholarship that you can get if you want to go. And this was at the Colorado College in Colorado Springs. And it was a summer scholarship. So I said, sure, I'll go, And that opened my eyes to maybe I should just accept the fact that I should be in dance rather than think that I can be an ambassador or something. I took the whole thing very seriously. That I went to New York, to classes with all the major schools, and then decided that perhaps I needed something more solid than going from one dance studio to another. So I looked around at colleges and applied for scholarships. And I got one from Sarah Lawrence. And I felt that I could still participate in all the fabulous theater and Broadway and dance and opera and musical life that Manhattan offered. So that's what I did.
Nagpatuloy siya sa kanyang devotion sa stage, in dance in particular. Nagsanay siya rin sa modern dance, which at that time was not really commonly known. Alice, I would say, pioneered in that particular direction under the training of the dance masters of her time in New York.
And so I did take up masters and got that.
Kaya pagbalik niya rito, naging natural consequence na siya ang mamuno doon sa pinaka-buod ng modern dance sa Pilipinas.
Bukod dito, pinagkalooban din ng scholarship si Alice Reyes ng John D. Rockefeller III Fund at ng Music Promotion Foundation of the Philippines.
And then when I came back here, Mrs. Marcos had built this theater. And I had an invitation to go and see it. So I sat up there, I think it's balcony 1 or even balcony 2, and they presented Dula Rawan. It was an amazing discovery that we had a theater that was so beautiful. This theater is first class. But the building was empty. They didn't have programs lined up. So I went to Miss Casilag and I said, I'm prepared to do a concert. Would you be interested?
The idea of a modern dance concert.
At that time, the chairman was Mr. Jaime Zobel, and Tita King was artistic director, I think.
So, the following year, in February 1970, she staged a first modern dance concert here at the CCP by a Filipino group. And she named that group Alice Reyes and Modern Dance Company, which was followed a few months after by a dance workshop, which attracted a lot of dancers, ballet dancers, folk dancers, theater artists. They all came here.
So I trained them for almost 6 months in the modern dance idiom, because nobody had any training in the modern dance idiom, which I had taken up in the States. So that was the beginning of the modern dance, I think, the introduction of modern dance in Manila. Lito Atienza was my first manager for the Alice Reyes Modern Dance Company.
I was with Alfredo Roses, advertising and public relations. We were handling the cultural center account. So that gave me a double pleasure of helping the cultural center in its mission, and at the same time helping a friend, Alice Reyes, to be promoted properly.
And because it was so successful, he had said, well, why don't we take it on a tour? So we toured. We brought it down to the Visayas and to Mindanao and up north.
And from then on, after that first presentation, naging tanyag na si Alice, na Pilipinas, na modern dance master, proponent, and expert.
And then in 1974, when that group became a regular season performer here at CCP, they applied to be the resident dance company of the CCP. And they were renamed CCP Dance Company. It was renamed Ballet Philippines in 1980 as it is now.
So that was the beginning of the whole dance development for me here in this theater.
Mula noon hanggang sa kasalukuyan, ang tanyag at ehemplong grupo ng Ballet Philippines ay naging bukal sa mga klasikong pagtatanghal na pumukaw sa damdamin at tumatak sa alaala ng mga manonood sa loob at labas ng bansa.
I did Amada, which was my thesis at Sarah Lawrence for my master's. And Amada was based on Nick Joaquin's Summer Solstice.
And it's a beautifully done, very dramatic, yet very energetic 18-minute choreography about the Tagtarin ritual and male dominance, feminism.
Yung si Don Rafael, napadpad sa ritual ng mga babae. Ang lakas ng ritual ng mga babae. Tapos yung Tatarin, the leader, type ng mga babae ang Amada kasi ano yan ang power ng babae over men.
So many messages in that piece, but beautifully and powerfully expressed through the choreography.
Kinrap mo kasi yung choreography to the soul of this person, to the personality of that given title. Amada is crafted to the person of Alice Reyes.
As she dances, and she was sexy. A sexy woman. Sabi ko, my God, who is this? Sexy. Of course, I know, it's Alice Reyes. Ang haba ng buhok, sexy, tapos ang haba ng ganda ng paa, high extension, sabi ko naman,
That was the first piece that I think opened the eyes of the audiences who came and saw that modern dance genre was a very good vehicle to use for developing our Filipino stories, Filipino music, and Filipino collaborative theater arts.
It was Russia. This was a choreography of Cora Inigo for Ballet Philippines. It's based on Amelia La Peña Bonifacio's Paglalakbay ni Sisa with Alice Reyes as Sisa. And I played Basilio. The other one was Crispin. And the two of us were lifting her. Parang nakadapang ganun siya. And we were lifting her here at saka sa legs. Then her shoulder gave in. Yung joint dito lumabas, yung buto. And then ibinalik namin sa socket and she continued dancing despite the pain.
You know, pride. 29 standing ovation, would you believe? Yun ang pinakamahabang standing ovation na natikman namin sa Vilnius, Russia. When they appreciated our dances, the Philippine dances in that given concert. And then everywhere we go, even to the remotest part of Russia, lahat sila, wow, this is so beautiful. And they really came again. Napupuno talaga yung theater, bumabalik talaga sila.
Kasama na rito ang mahahalagang kolaborasyon ng iba't ibang henyo mula sa iba't ibang larangan ng sining. Nagsanib puwersa upang makabuo ng mga klasikong obra maestra sa pangunguna ni Alice Reyes.
Yung aking akda na ginawa niya ng sayaw, yung Tales of the Manubu, ang CCP nag-assign sa kanya. Talagang kanyang likha yung sayaw ng Tales of the Manubu. Medyo mahirap yung Tales of the Manubu dahil Alice's suggestion, ibinase yon sa mga kwentong bayan ng mga Manobo sa Mindanao.
Tales of the Manubu, which was a work by music by Nonong Pedero, choreography by Alice Reyes, libretto by Bienvenido Lumbera. I like that piece. I danced in that piece. I was the contrabida.
Tales of the Manugo na una. And that was a rock concert. Ano yun siya? Pioneering. Na may singers, tapos ang dance. Nasa tabi ang singers, but the show, Tales of the Manugo, was so innovative of the time. It was so trailblazing at the time. Na singers and dancers. So much so, na ginaya namin dito sa Davao.
I think they're restaging it.
Which is a challenge to me because I think I have to re-choreograph, and at this point where I can't dance like I used to is a challenge. So it's going to be very interesting.
The other work is Itim Asu. I think that's another masterpiece. It's about the assassination of Governor Bustamante during the Spanish colonial period, based on Virginia Moreno's script.
Music was done by Alfredo Tolentino. The set was done by Jaime de Guzman, the painter. Costumes were by Salvador Bernal. And based on Virginia Moreno's La Loba Negra, which he also took from an earlier piece. No? So that was also very successful because again, it's like, wow, atin ito.
She was the first of a kind here in the Philippines to get into that integration of Filipino to a modern dance, integration of idea. One good example was that the Ramahari.
It was a very big story because it was based on the Ramayana, and then she wove the dancing and the music and the design with a lot of good artists. So Miss Alice was able to put together a very enchanting piece of work, and actually it was very massive.
Gimeri niya ang singer, nagsha-shadow na with the dancer. Si Rama, dancer, at ang singer nasa likod niya, kumakanta. So, nag-i-interact dalawa, ang dancers at ang singers.
You see the story through the dance, you see the story through the set, but you also feel the story through the words and the music. It was just very enchanting.
Alam mo, wala kang itutulak, itapon, kabigin sa mga nagawa ni Alice. All of that are gems. The likes of Ramahari, Tales of the Manugo, Itim Asu, Amada, lahat, practically lahat, sobrang ganda talaga. Wala akong maisip na pwede kong sabihin na, ay, ito hindi masyado maganda, ay, ito hindi. Everything that Alice touches becomes an art.
So I encouraged a lot of new choreographies done by different Filipinos to commission Filipino works, musical works that the Culture Center had sponsored. So that was also very, very helpful.
Siya na rin pinagmulan ng maraming makuhusay na mananayaw, koreograpo, guro, at pinuno ng iba't ibang grupo sa sayaw na nabuo dahil sa paghikayat at inspirasyong ibinabahagi ng ina ng modernong sayaw ng bansa.
Para akong pumasok sa ng karayom, testing niya muna. Pina-choreograph muna ako ng maliit na piyesa sa school. Pero naramdaman kong binabantayan niya yung aking works. Na hindi yung, basta pwede ka na, main theater ka na. Tagal ko makaabot sa main theater. She helped clarify a lot of things in the process of choreography. But mostly, I really felt that may cross-check siya ba bago niya paanuhin ang choreographer.
3 lead role agad, hindi pa ako nakasain ng contract. I mean, those things, experience-wise, I know that she saw something in a person. One good example is me. Ang talent, she sees right away into that kind of inner. may malalim siyang pagtingin eh. Malawak na ang kanyang kaalaman.
Miss Alice is a little bit intimidating because she likes doing things very well, and that means she expects everybody to do their part.
She was very, very strict with, especially because we were sisters, and she was then artistic director of Ballet Philippines. Of course, we had to excel a little bit more than the rest of the company members.
Tawag sa kanya Mondragon. Strict siya. At kung ano sabihin niya, yun. Matapang siya. Pero isipin mo naman ang na-accomplish niya. Nobody soft-spoken can accomplish what she did. Professionalized dance in the Philippines. Creator of outstanding Filipino dance works.
She's not mataray as in per se mataray. Whoever is handling something, merong din lalabas din ang temper. Actually, she's a soft person. Malambot ang kanyang puso. Mapagbigay. Anything that we go out, anything that we extra performances, there's always the share, something like that. Alice would say, this is for you, and this one is for the company.
She taught us professionalism, how to weekend 110% in anything that we endeavor. In dance, we had to be the best.
Ang importante sa kanya yung dedication yung bunga ng production at yung galing ng mga performer. So discipline is number one, and you can rely on Alice as far as that's concerned. She knew how to train people, and she knew how to make people appreciate her art.
There's one incident na hindi pa uso social media nun, no? Walang text, walang cellphone, telepono lang. Buti kung makakuha ka pa ng landline. Mahirap kumuha ng landline. Since bagsak ang telepono, all of that, because it's signal number 3, we have to go.
We would work at the basement. The CCP ballet studio is at the basement of this building. There wouldn't be any air conditioning, no lights, kasi brown out.
We know that Alice is going to be there and that she will rehearse. True enough, no? I remember crossing the Rojas Boulevard at signal number 3. Yung payong ko nga bumaliktad na sa sobrang lakas ng hangin. Tapos basang-basa ka na. But when I enter the artist entrance ng CCP, madilim, syempre blackout, no? Pero I know there's light in the rehearsal hall. And true enough, Alice is there waiting with all the candles all around the rehearsal hall. At tapos nagpabilisan ng battery kasi tuloy ang rehearsal.
She would push us, and because she had to finish the choreography or she had to rehearse and clean up the dance, it was hard, but we willingly worked with her.
She demanded a certain kind of standard, and that she put into Ballet Philippines as well. That's why I think Ballet Philippines is one of the most successful dance companies.
Isang pinuno at dakilang haligi ng sining na lumikha ng mga bagong direksyon at daan para sa makabagong pananaw, kontemporanyong estilo tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng Filipinong sayaw.
That was the first presentation na ang ginamit na estilo ay modern dance. So hindi pa natin sigurado kung magpapalakpakan ng tao o uuwi. Dahil pag hindi nagustuhan ng audience yung presentation, pwedeng tumayo yun, umuwi anytime. Pero hindi, napako sila sa mga upuan nila dahil yung emotion and feeling of that particular show that she presented captivated the audience, and that's the reason why she continued on being recognized as the queen of modern dance in the Philippines.
Yung kanya idea here at the Ballet Philippines, here at the Cultural Center, advocacy niya is that the pursuant ang kanyang pagpapalawak ng kaalaman at appreciation ng kultura ng sayaw. Na-integrate niya yung Filipino story into the modern dance. Pinagsama niya at ikinikwento niya ng maganda. Ang maganda pa noon ay maganda ang presentasyon.
The type of dances that Alice brought us is something that capture every audience kasi iba yung pagkaka-craft niya. May classicness eh. The Alice Reyes type of modern dance is something so beautiful na it extends. Parang kung papanoorin mo siya, parang nahihila yung soul mo
Sa kanyang paglalakbay tungo sa paghubog at paglinang ng kanyang sining, ay kanyang binigyang kahulugan ang tunay na layunin ng isang Filipinong artista. Sa kanyang mga ipinunlang panahon, dedikasyon, kahusayan, kalidad ng profesionalismo at karanasan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng Filipinong larangan ng sayaw.
Training dancers, training choreographers, training teachers from the experience that she gave when they were company members. Ngayon, lumalawak. At saka yung value na inilabas niya when they were still dancing, nagagamit nila ngayon.
Look at Ballet Philippines now. For nearly 50 years na siya, all these years, hindi kailangan i-prove ng Ballet Philippines na kailangan niyang patotohanan sa tao na magaling kami. No. Ballet Philippines will always be Ballet Philippines. The professional level of performing in Ballet Philippines will always be the same. Nandun siya sa international level. That's why, no? The kind of working etiquette na na-develop ng lahat ng mananayo doon starts from Alice. You know, nagte-transfer siya from generation to generation without Alice even saying a word. Yun ang iniwan na siguro legacy ni Alice. That kind of working condition will always be there.
My mother instilled in me this teaching that talent is God-given, and if you are given that talent, it was a responsibility for you to develop it and to make sure that you stay with it and made it part of your life and that you shared it with as many as you can. So for me, I always felt that I needed to do this. I had, so it wasn't really a choice.
Ang kanyang uliraning ehemplo ay nagsisilbing tanglaw at modelo di lamang para sa mga Filipinong mananayaw, kundi pati sa mga kulturang manggagawa. Ito ang kanyang kaganapan bilang isang esensyal at kumpletong artista, bilang isang tunay na alagad ng sining.
I remember a policy sa Cultural Center. Nagbabayad ng super mahal ang mayayaman, yung mahihirap, piso ang general admission dun sa balcony. Nakareserba palagi yun sa mga mahihirap. Dahil sabi nga niya, walang saysay ang ating pagsisikap to promote culture, both international and local, kung ang mga mahihirap hindi kasali.
To start with, ang works niya, karamihan talaga Philippinized. Filipino works. Pero ang aking pinaka-appreciate, she built a company that has become the institution for creating Filipino works, for choreographers, then up to now. Ballet Philippines, nag-e-encourage ng Filipinization. Parang feeling mo, pag choreographer pa, kailangan Pinoy.
She did through her own efforts, with the help of us and the other people who helped Ballet Philippines, professionalize the company by giving them a career. When I say giving them a career, the dancers a career, is that they can make a living out of being dancers. I think Ballet Philippines was the first one to give monthly salaries, stipends, etc. So that's a big achievement for Philippine dance.
Ang legasiya na inaalay ni dakilang pambansang alagad ng sining, Alice Reyes, ay higit pa sa pagpapayaman ng Filipinong sayaw. Ang kanyang mga kulturang ambag sa kabuuan ay isang masagana at matatag na pundasyon para sa mga panibagong Filipinong pangarap at malikhaing mga layunin para sa kasalukuyan at sa susunod na salinlahi.
Well, I think she always as a dancer and as a choreographer, she was able to elevate dance in a more contemporary way when she introduced collaborations between visual artists, Filipino composers. I think this is what we're still doing now, partnering with other disciplines as dance as the pivotal art form. She started that in the 1970s. I think if you look at her works, it's a pride inside of her as a Filipino to be able to bring out through dance our history.
Well, the young ballet dancers look up to Miss Alice. They know that she's done so many works. They know how she started everything from scratch here in the CCP with Ballet Philippines. And the young artists respect her. They see her as somebody they would like to follow. They would like to show that they know what she expects. So even if they are young, they want to be able to show her that they can carry on what she has started.
When I became artistic director, sinundan ko lang yung pattern niya. Tapos naintindihan ko na bakit alas 2 hanggat alas 10 ang trabaho nila. Bakit kailangan matapos na ganyan? Binabantayan ko noon ang ginagawa ni Alice at ina-absorb. And I learned from her.
Well, dance is very important because it develops the body. So we all have the ability to move and to dance. As a country, as a culture, and as a nation, we are so musical anyway. So it's very important to develop that natural talent. But dance is also a terrific medium, as we can see with the success of pieces like Amada and Itimasu and Hurupakal and Encantado of Agnes Luxin and and all these other major works. It's a fantastic way of developing our stories, our mythology, our beliefs, our attitudes. It should be part and parcel of the whole educational plan and the whole cultural development.
Mananayaw, koreograpo, iskolar at guro, direktor, pinuno at ina, si Binibining Alice Reyes ay isa sa malikhaing bisyonaryo na nagpamalas ng naiibang talino, husay at higit sa lahat ng malalim na pag-unawa sa kahulugan at layunin ng isang alagad ng sining. Ina ng modernong sayaw ng Pilipinas, si pambansang alagad ng sining Alice Reyes ay isang buhay na patunay na ang kadakilaan ng isang artista ay nakasalalay di lamang sa kanyang galing, kundi pati sa ibayong pagsusumikap at disiplina, bukas na kamalayan sa pagpapayaman ng kaalaman, pagyakap sa mga bagong karanasan, matapang na saloobin at paninindigan, pagmamahal, pagpapahalaga sa sining, at pagtupad sa tungkulin.
I mean, this is in dance. I mean, it may be different for painting and for sculptures, but for me in dance, I do a tremendous amount of research. And then I want to emphasize to them the importance of the craftsmanship. I don't believe in, basta ito yung gusto ko. It has to be grounded in craftsmanship and the standards. Don't do it for your audience. You need to be true to yourself. All creative efforts are not guaranteed to be successful. We learn from our mistakes. We learn from our failures. So don't be afraid of that. Just go for it.
Ang kanyang buhay ay isang ehemplo, di lamang para sa mga artistang Filipino, kundi para sa bawat Pilipino.
Yes, be proud of being a Filipino. We are such a talented country, nation, and our mixture of the exposure of different cultures, the Western heritage from Spain and the Americas, the Asian influences, those all, I think, contribute to our being much more citizens of a wider world. Expose yourself to as much as you can, but be very proud of being a Filipino. Again,
Alice Reyes, ina ng modernong sayaw ng Pilipinas, pambansang alagad ng sining sa sayaw, sa gisag kultura ng Pilipinas.
Taliwala sa nahiagumang pandemya ning atong nasud karon, naninguha ang nasyonal nga pangagamhanan nga ipaabot sa kadaghanan ang mga tubag sa nagbaha nga mga pangutana kabahin sa kahimtang sa tanang katawhan, pinaagi na sa PCOO kun Presidential Communications Operations Office ni Secretary Martin Andanar. Laging handa! Programa sa tanang Sibyaanan nga mohatag katinawan sa mga pangutana sa katawhan. Laging handa! Programang makahatag kasayuran sa benepisyo ug ayuda alang sa katawhan. Laging handa! Programang maghatod sa mga impormasyon kabahin sa pagpangandam ug mga gipatuman sa nasyonal nga pangagamhanan taliwala sa pandemyang COVID-19. Laging handa! Mapaminaw matag Lunes hangtod Sabado alas 11 ngadto alas 12 sa kaugtuhon. Diri lamang sa RPN DXKD Dipolog 1053 kHz sa atong mga AM radio bands o sa RPN DXKD Dipolog sa Facebook account.